Before we get to the video, I wanted to let you guys know we're having a huge clearance sale on the website. Discounts over 50% off on everything you could think of: hats, shirts, drinkware, you name it. So click the link in the description and head over there and check it out.
Not every Dragon Ball character can become a fan favorite. Some of them are annoying, some of them are straight up useless, but whatever the reason may be, there are just some characters that people generally just kind of hate. We're not counting Dragon Ball Super for this video because that series is still ongoing, but everything else is totally fair game. So hey, I'm Nervous Nick for Screw Attack's Top 10 Worst Dragon Ball Characters.
Number 10.
So remember how Kami became the guardian of Earth by dividing himself in two and creating King Piccolo? Well, thanks to Kami, that wasn't the only monster created that day. He had to first defeat a guy named Garlic, whose tiny jerk-faced son would later come back for revenge. Garlic Jr. is a by-the-numbers Dragon Ball villain. Wants immortality? Check. Boring henchman? Check. At least he actually gets his wish for immortality, but that only makes the fact that he's still lost all the more pathetic. Like, why would you ever create the only way an immortal can be defeated after becoming immortal? You know how you're gonna go out. And when all is said and done, nothing Garlic Jr. does has any consequence for the entire rest of the series. Literally, nobody remembers him after he's been knocked into his own dead zone. Garlic Jr. is nothing more than a villain from a series of filler episodes, which means he only exists so that he can waste your time.
Number 9.
We can all agree that Frieza is one of the best things in Dragon Ball, right? His main battle is one of the series' best, he looks intimidating, and his personality is ice cold. It really doesn't get any cooler than that, even if you give him a brother whose name is literally Cooler. But Cooler's problem isn't his name or his relation to one of the best baddies. It's that everything about him is just a ripoff of his baby bro. Attempting to blow up the planet, Frieza did it. Coming back to life as a machine, Frieza did that too. That come at me bro pose that he does, please! Everybody knows who he stole that from. Well, at least he picked a good villain to rip off. And we'll go a little bit easy on Cooler if only because his final form actually looks pretty cool. But besides that, Frieza's big brother has nothing really going for him.
Number 8.
Some characters deserve hatred for being terrible warriors. But believe it or not, that's actually not quite the case for HERCULE Satan. In fact, as far as humanity is concerned, HERCULE is the hero of Earth. An alternative fact that lands HERCULE right here in the top 10 because in reality, he's a dishonest douche. Mr. Satan is meant to be the comic relief character, and there's nothing wrong with that. But he's still the kind of lying, two-faced, self-indulging excuse for a hero that you always want to see get his, but hardly ever do. Mr. Satan's low on the list for a reason. During the Buu Saga, he actually becomes a way more likable character and somehow ends up saving the Earth. But the rest of the time, we'd rather do it like Cell and give him the old pimp slap.
Number 7.
You remember that one time Broly was brought to Earth to kill Mr. Satan? No, you don't, because that wasn't Broly, that was Bio Broly. Bigger, dumber, slimier, Brolier. Bio Broly was the genetic clone of the legendary Super Saiyan who really could have used a little extra time in the oven. This golden-haired swamp thing is strictly weaker than the OG Broly from the previous two films, because this time around, all it takes to hold him off is the triple kitty Kamehameha. No, I don't care that Krillin is 38 years old here. And just guess what this syrup monster's one true weakness turns out to be. Saltwater on the smallest island ever. Wonderful.
Number 6.
Look, the idea of fusion is fun and all, but why doesn't it ever seem to actually beat the bad guy? MAJUUB from Dragon Ball GT is the epitome of what we're talking about here. I know some people got annoyed with how childish Gotenks was, and believe me, I was one of them, but at least his attacks were creative in an age where everybody just shoots lasers and moves really fast. Kinda boring. MAJUUB doesn't have any of that creativity going for him. He just looks like Oob cosplaying as Aladdin. Yeah, he's technically a lot stronger in this form, but it amounts to, say it with me, nothing! In the very next episode, baby Vegeta just throws MAJUUB's attack right back at him, turns him into chocolate, and he goes out like a complete scrub. And did I mention that MAJUUB basically killed a whole bunch of innocent people moments earlier by turning them into chocolate too? What a great guy, right?
Number 5.
And while we're kind of on the topic, Dragon Ball GT, man. So much lost potential here. The setup makes it seem like Goten, Trunks, and Goku, who's been turned into a kid for the dumbest reason ever, are gonna go on space adventures. That is an idea I would be totally on board with. Sadly, Pan was also on board. Literally. Goten got booted from the Galactic Spaceship Adventures, and now Pan is one of the main characters of this show. This girl does basically nothing for all of Dragon Ball GT. As the descendant of Goku himself, you'd think she'd follow in his footsteps just a little. You think she's gonna blow up the bad guys. You cross your fingers that she'll go Super Saiyan at some point. But every single thing you would want to see her do never happens. You can't completely blame it all on her though, because Goku refuses to share the spotlight with anybody in the whole series. It's like they say, GT is short for Goku time.
Number 4.
Wait, what? Internet meme sensation Yamcha isn't number 1? Come on, the dude started out as a likable desert bandit who was afraid of women yet still wanted to find love. It was cute for a while. And then life started to unzip its pants, drop its drawers, and take a big old dump right all over him. From that point on, Yamcha started the slow, depressing descent into failure status. It's usually his ego that gets his brand new car destroyed or his face blown up by a plant monster, but that's not even the worst part. See, there's a spin-off manga in which a kid is reincarnated as Yamcha, and he winds up being super useful to the team all the way up to the Cell games. Do you realize what this means? It means the actual Yamcha is even suckier than we thought. But you know who we hate even more?
Number 3.
Not all bad guys in Dragon Ball are all serious all the time. We get that. That still doesn't excuse the Para brothers from Dragon Ball GT. After all the world-ending supervillains Goku and the gang had defeated by this point, 3 punks who dress like the Domino's Pizzanoid and are barely more than just telepaths really should not be that big of a deal. The one and only reason they ever posed a threat to the heroes is with their signature attack, the Para Boogie.
Shake! Don't forget to smile!
Yes, what you're seeing is true. The mighty Goku, Trunks, and Pan all were subdued by what's basically a Ratchet and Clank move until some giant cave worms interrupted their groove so that Goku and the gang could lay out the Para brothers in one punch. Literally unforgivable.
Number 2.
You watch a show like Dragon Ball because you want to see awesome fights. Anything that tries to accomplish the opposite is just getting in the way. Who else could I even be talking about besides Chi-Chi? Now, all things considered, Chi-Chi has the right to be upset from all the crap that Goku puts her through. But that doesn't make her any less frustrating from the viewer's perspective. Literally all she does is nag. It's so freaking annoying! What makes it hurt even more is that Chi-Chi was meant for better than this. Way back in Dragon Ball, she made it to the semifinals of the 23rd World Martial Arts Tournament with her skill alone. For crying out loud, the first time we ever see her, she beheads a T-Rex and vaporizes the body with a laser. Like, what happened to that, Chi-Chi? We only see her awesome side again one time when she was training Goten, but even then it was so brief that it doesn't come anywhere close to redeeming her. But Chi-Chi's worst sin of all was actually creating the #1 worst Dragon Ball character.
It's number 1.
194 episodes, 225 manga chapters, all of them building up Gohan to be Goku's successor. As soon as the story continues from his victory against Cell, Gohan's potential was completely wasted.
I am Great Saiyaman at your service!
And it was embarrassing. Gohan up until that point was amazing, but after the Cell saga, the grown-up adult Gohan was one of the biggest letdowns for any Dragon Ball fan. Gohan could have been everything Goku was and more. His raw fighting potential far surpassed what his dad could do at his age. He had years of book smarts that could have been creatively used in battle, but even when the world needed his strength again, all of his talents went to complete waste. The real nail in the coffin was when he spent forever training with the old Kai so he could bring down Buu, and then immediately lost, which made Boo even more powerful. And I know we're not taking Dragon Ball Super into account for this top 10, but it's worth mentioning that even in that series, Gohan was pathetic for the longest time. Maybe, just maybe someday, Gohan will return to his rightful place. But whenever he does, I'm sure it'll be way too little, way too late. Alright, for our secret number 11, let's go back to the pointless Garlic Jr. saga again for another character who made no difference. Krillin's ex-girlfriend, Marin. Marin's just a stereotypical ditzy airhead.
I've seen party balloons that have more on their minds.
But worst of all, she treats our favorite vertically challenged hero like dirt and ditches him for some randoms. Girl, why you gotta do my boy Krillin like that?